I don't really cover drama as much as I used to these days because it's not really relevant to such a horrible state of politics that we exist in right now that can mostly be blamed on Trump and the Republican Party. So like what do I need to get from internet drama? But this is a case where I do think there is some relevance for me to talk about it because it has to do with this double standard that exists online. And while I do think it's mostly being pushed by the right, I do think that some normies might be able to fall for these psyops as well, and it's important to call them out and show you guys what to look for in these stories. So recently, a massive left-wing creator named not Harry Season. I always mix up all these lefty TikTok streaming white boys. Dean Withers. Okay, Dean Withers got hit with some allegations, supposedly from a 13-year-old girl about him being inappropriate, to say the least. So these allegations were very serious, right? Like, they hit the timeline like a nuclear bomb, and it was a pretty big deal. There was a lot of discourse right away. But as all of it started to blow up, as it started to get really big, the craziest thing happened. A 13-year-old girl comes forward who looks identical to the one making the allegations, then comes out to confirm it's her, but that these allegations never happened. Whoever this is literally stole her photos and then pretended to be a different person who is also 13 in order to make false allegations. And it is so provable that she was able to provide, I mean, she's on video providing like the images from her Instagram or whatever that were stolen by this probably right-wing catfish account. And it wasn't even a catfish, actually. It was just straight up identity theft. It's not like Dean Withers ever actually talked to this person. They just made the account and then faked screenshots. So this story, this was already from the get-go a clearly, you know, MAGA psyop meant to create allegations that might go somewhere against Dean Withers. But once it was proven to be false, like unequivocally false, and it's really weird to support these allegations when you find out the story behind them, the fact that there's this like kid whose identity is being stolen for the sake of slandering the reputation of a progressive TikTok guy. These right-wing people, the MAGA people, continued to push these allegations anyway, with their main argument being, well, didn't you say to believe all women? Which is the most disingenuous thing ever, because the only woman to believe in this situation is the woman, quote-unquote, is the 13-year-old whose identity was stolen by some MAGA chud trying to use said identity to pretend to be a kid and make up allegations about this person. So it's a very disingenuous thing, and it's clear that MAGA is fully on board with pushing and pretending to believe in order to push these allegations, and this is not the first time I've seen it. It's just the most blatant I've ever seen it. It's the most provable I've ever seen it. I've seen this happen. This has happened to me. I've seen it happen to countless other progressive creators where the right starts some rumor or claim and they all pretend to believe it even if it's provably false. And pretending to believe it and joking about it and passing it around gets the normies to start believing it. And once the normies believe it, that's when it can actually affect you as a progressive like figure with a platform. And I know this is kind of hyper specific to people who do this type of content, you know, not just your average progressive person. I think it's still important to talk about. So here I have Dean Withers himself responding to the allegations. And I gotta say, it was a top tier response. I have seen it, but I'm going to showcase it here, and I'm no doubt going to have plenty to rant about in regards to how the right is handling this situation, because it is truly despicable. Let's watch. Oh, I forgot I muted the tab.
13-year-old girl. This is the most serious video I've ever made. A Trump supporter stole the identity of an innocent 13-year-old girl to falsely accuse me of rape with supporting evidence of poorly botched fake DMs in an attempt to illegitimately deplatform me. In response, the 13-year-old whose identity was stolen made a video calling out the false accuser and anybody peddling these lies using her photos, stating that she's been getting her.
Okay. Can we talk about how lucky he is that that happened, by the way? Because genuinely, what if she never came forward? Would she have been found? Would people have been able to realistically put two and two together? Or do you think that these allegations would have actually stuck? Unless the person Another party, uninvolved technically in the situation, was able to come out and exonerate him. That is the only reason, realistically, Dean Withers was able to put up such a strong response. And this is what I mean when I say this stuff is scary and it's a problem that we need to be aware of, because this time it was so blatantly provable that these were MAGA people pushing a psyop. But they've done it many times before, and it's almost never this obvious. There's almost never some, like, deus ex machina that comes out of nowhere and just, saves you from the drama, proves everything wrong, like in this situation. Deus ex machina. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired.
Harassed and bombarded with messages. An innocent 13-year-old girl. As we speak, not all, but millions of Republicans across the internet have continued to knowingly peddle this false allegation and could what only be described as an attempt to get me killed or to get me to myself, leading to the police calling me, informing me of a bomb threat, and the continued visceral harassment of the innocent little girl who had her identity stolen. Let's unpack this. First and foremost, this TikTok account, under the name of Emily, accused me of rape. They posted this fake DM to prove their allegation. The account posted 2 screenshots of the same faked DMs, for the purpose being that in the second screenshot, they're scrolled further down the page to also include my response. We know that they're fake because in the first screenshot above their message, there is an included date and time. In the second screenshot above that same message, there is not an included date and time. The only explanation for this inconsistency is that the screenshots are fake. The account also claimed to be a young girl, posting many photos such as these to make their allegations seem more believable. This girl is not accusing me of rape. She had her...
Can we just talk about how creepy it is that this random MAGA chud went, like, cruising the internet to find some minor to steal the identity of? Like, take a bunch of her photos from, like, her posts and stuff and, like, use them to make a fake account? And assuming all of the photos weren't posted on the same day on this fake account, does that mean the guy did it like a month ago and then like slowly uploaded them over the course of days to like add legitimacy to the account? Team Sativa, Gamer Studio, Gamer Turd.
Identity stolen by this account. She made a video to clear this up.
So tonight I was looking through my TikTok comments and I find some comments saying that someone's impersonating me and using my photos to accuse someone, Dean Withers, of sexual assault. This was the picture someone put in my TikTok comments, and this was the picture I posted on Instagram.
Yeah, like, in case anybody was going into this unaware of all this, going like, okay, well, is there still some plausibility to these allegations? Like, have they truly been debunked? Yeah, that's the same photo. This was, someone stole her identity.
Same with here, this was posted in July, and now I find this 4 days ago on TikTok. On this photo, you can see there's a little scribble at the top of the screen. This is because, as you can see in the next photo, that's where the lyrics were in my Instagram photo. After finding out about this, I made a video tagging her saying that it's not me, and she ended up blocking my main account. I'm now getting multiple DMs and comments about this whole situation, and I wanted to make this to let you guys know that I'm not involved in any of this, and I didn't make any of these videos.
Even in light of the fact that this allegation is obviously fake, not only hurting me as the victim of them, but also the innocent little girl whose identity was stolen to make them, many Trump supporters haven't cared. MAGA influencers like the older millennial Asman.
The fact is they need anything they can say. Like, Dean Withers is the kind of guy that will be like, come on to the show and argue with me if you disagree, if you think you can epically own me. And they don't want to. They know they'll get owned. They know their arguments won't hold up to any kind of pressure. And they just want something they can say, isn't this the guy who... Bang. They love to do this. Isn't this the guy who... Insert thing. And now, with Dean Withers, the MAGA people will be like, isn't this the guy who sexted a 13-year-old? Even though it's been thoroughly proven. They have a thing they can just say, isn't this the guy who... Insert thing. And it's not just that they can just make it up on the spot. All of the right-wingers will know that they need to be on board with pushing this, like boosting the comments about it and commenting it in like large numbers. It's just an attempt to discredit and silence a left-wing influencer. They want people to completely disregard what he says. Well, of course, but they can't do it with they can't debunk his actual points. So instead, they just want a quick and easy, like, slanderous statement they can make while also dismissing him, right? Like, if he says, debate me, they want to be able to reply, isn't this the guy who, and then insert heinous allegation, and then leave it at that.
Gold and thousands of others have continued to peddle these false allegations across social media so hard to the point that for the last 48 hours straight, this has been a top news story on Twitter, amassing over 50,000 posts of mostly Republicans calling me a rapist. For those, some even on the right, that have made videos condemning these false allegations, thank you. You know who you are. This is the most serious.
There were a handful of right-wingers that did condemn them, actually, which was nice to see, but not many. What I really think is important to point out here is how many conservatives came out after this video to say, we don't care if they're untrue. You people are always supporting false allegations, so we're going to support them here. Which would indicate that, at least in the right's twisted worldview, according to them, if you take them at their word, their perception is that the left is constantly supporting false allegations and destroying careers with them, and that Me Too went way too far and destroyed countless lives, and the left needs to face consequences. Anyone who supported Me Too needs to face those same consequences of getting false allegations and everyone believing them. That's their perception of the situation and what they consider sort of a divine karma for the entire left for doing the Me Too movement. Anyway, folks, this is just some more despicable behavior from the MAGA folks, and it really shouldn't surprise you. It's in fact exactly what you ought to expect from these people, but I think it's important that we talk about these things and we give it a little bit of attention so you guys know that, like, your favorite left-wing creators are constantly under, like, attacks from right-wing psyops. They know that, like, our audiences won't listen to some right-wing loser, but if they can frame it as an attack from the center or even an attack from the left or a legitimate allegation, then that's how you reach the audience, a loyal audience of progressive figures. You have to psyop. Psychological operations. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed, leave a like down below, subscribe and ring the bell icon if you want to see more from me, and comment as well. Thank you guys for watching, take care of yourselves, and I hope to see y'all in the next one.